What is up, everybody? It's your boy, Hey Lil Joey, or Lil Joey, and today we are reacting to The Truth, What's Really Going On with Kingpyn by Wade Plem, and he posted it on the Wade Concept channel, so you know it's serious. So, without further ado, let's just hop right into the video.
Now, I'm in Dublin, Ireland right now, and I have an update for everyone. First off, before we talk about what's going on with Kingpyn, I just want to let everyone know there is no time of me being a commentator that I will not inform you on things that I know. I think people thought I was in some way running from telling and talking about this, which is not the case. I just don't want to come with incomplete information to you guys about things that I don't have a full grasp of, give you guys information that was incomplete and potentially even false for.
This is a good thing by Wade, honestly, because as a commentator and as someone who advocates for certain promotions, you can't really be talking on things that you don't know whether it's true or not. And obviously, Wade's not going to know everything. He's not the main man behind the scenes. But, as someone who's connected with Kingpyn, he can't be really talking about stuff that he doesn't know whether it's true, false, or whatever. So good on him for that.
Then a narrative to be run about myself and you guys believing the things that I say. My credibility is worth more to me than that, and so is my self-respect and respect for you all. So I decided to wait until I had all of the information that I possibly could have to make this video, which is why it's now less than 9 days away from Kingpyn semifinal, and I just have the information. Is that a good thing? No. Are there a lot of good things happening? Yeah, there is. Are we going to talk about them all? You're damn right. When am I going to stop asking questions to myself and then answering them? Right now. Kingpyn's semifinal tournament. What's going on? Let's talk about it. All right, so to get to where we are, we have to go back a little bit. What happened to get us to this place? Kingpyn's first event, a couple months back, we all know, was a bit of a mixed bag. We had some success as far as the production value. The Blood Brothers are going to have to get credit for this. They turned around some of the best social metrics across all platforms. For a first-time event on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, combined with the stuff that we were doing on Way Concept Breakdown, there was a lot of stuff that went into that production. Something I'm very proud of in that event is how we did production-wise, the value of it, and the work we put in.
The production value for Kingpyn was honestly very great. It was a lot better than their first event, and clearly they wanted to put on the biggest event that they could to attract the most people that they could. But obviously, I have my opinions about that, but we'll go over that later.
Things I'm not necessarily proud of. As we all know, Kingpyn has lost a ton of money off the first event. It's just a fact. It's what happened. Pay-per-view sales were not what they expected. Piracy issues were a massive problem that was not able to be addressed because, again, I talked about it with Creator Clash. There's a lack of forethought when you're not partnered with a large broadcast company, i.e. DAZN, Showtime, name whatever company you want.
Yep.
UFC, they have teams that can address this. Not even they can stop it, but they can contain it a little better. From what I'm hearing, it was a significant loss on pay-per-view sales based on the piracy issues that are rampant throughout influencer boxing. And yes, they could have done better to prepare for that, absolutely. But also protecting their own funds and potentially managing that a little better was another reason that Kingpyn could have done better in the first event.
The big issues, at least I'm going to put out what I think are the big issues. And one, they were paying I'm sure many of these fighters on this card 7 figures, which clearly some of these influencers aren't worth 7 figures, as we can see how the draw went, in terms of how Winderson pretty much filled the arena, and it was pretty much cleared by the time Gibb versus Austin 2 came on. So I think, paying all these fighters so much money, and then just not being able to kind of deliver, knowing that, you're probably not going to make that big of a profit, is just it's ignorance, really. I mean, I know these companies want to kind of break into the scene, but when you're paying all these fighters 7 figures, and then you get the results back of your pay-per-views and the tickets and all this different stuff, you realize that you can't be paying all these fighters 7 figures.
First time around, I don't really have to harp on them too much. Maybe a mismanagement and even a misunderstanding as to how things were going to work and what they thought they were going to get. They didn't necessarily get. Promotion could have been better. All of those things. And that's what led us to right now. But you can't go back and fix that. But what we can do is talk about the situation at hand. Yesterday, reports started flying around that Kingpyn's bankrupt, and that they're going to cancel the tournament, postpone the tournament.
Yep.
Fighters are talking about the tournament's off. They're not going to be fighting. I am on this thing for about 5 to 6 hours yesterday trying to figure out what's happening, how
Same.
are things being handled. I've even seen some ridiculous stuff on Twitter that Jake Paul in some way was going to save Kingpyn from bankruptcy. And
I saw that too.
Keemstar himself saying that I was going to be on staff as Jake Paul's version of Keemstar for Kingpyn, which is one of the... I don't even know what to...
Keemstar really needs to stop giving himself credit for all that stuff. Seriously. I mean, like, yes, you're helping build the scene, but you're... Bro, no.
I try not to respond to Keem when it comes to these kind of things because, to be quite honest, he knows exactly what he's doing, and so do you guys, or maybe you've forgotten. Keem has always said when it comes to attention, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, as long as you're paying attention to him, it's exactly what he wants. So that's kind of why I avoid the whole thing, but it wouldn't be difficult to be the Keemstar of Kingpyn, which is probably why he does it. It doesn't take a ton of effort to hop on Twitter Spaces every day and complain about people more talented than he is, getting opportunities that he wants, and instead of elevating his game and trying to get better at, I don't know, commentary, for example, he'll just create a prelim card on his own and put it under KSI's event so that he has a place on commentary. Because when he tried it under the bright lights on the main stage, the people that make the big decisions for his card and one that's coming soon for Kingpyn, well, they decided they'd seen enough of what he had to offer and we're going to go in a different direction. But I guess that's my way of transitioning to basically say, yeah, DAZN has come on board. They are going to co-promote Kingpyn for the semifinals and the finals. And this is a very big thing, a very good thing. If
Now, my biggest thing is KSI and Mams Taylor and Keemstar have all dissed Kingpyn so much. So how is this going to work if DAZN is also partnered with Kingpyn? I don't know. Hopefully Wade has some answers.
Fan of influencer boxing. I know a lot of people prayed on this moment for Kingpyn to fail, and we're going to talk about in a second how odd that was. But what I'm saying to you guys now is before DAZN came on board here, at least, again, from what I'm hearing, this was not looking good. Fighters were starting to think, maybe I'm not even going to come back for this event. And in fact, some fighters, like Anisan Gibb, had come out publicly and said, I am done, through his coach, Leon Wills, on the Real and Wills podcast. In the last 12 to 24 hours, things have taken that kind of turn, flipped around completely. Gibb is on the card. Jarvis is back on the card despite the tweets. Kitty is back on the card despite the tweets. Winterson is back on the card despite the tweets. The women on
the tattoo.
Bracket, Emily L., Barbie, and Julie, all back in the tournament, including some of the local prospects here in Ireland, some from the MMA scene, some from the bare knuckle scene, Kiefer Crosby, a lot of SBG, Straight Blast Gym natives. Is everybody happy about this? Is everybody happy with the way things have gone? The lack of communication, the almost complete fucking fumbling of this entire tournament format, everything by Kingpyn? Absolutely not. Is it happening? Is it not? There were so many things that ran through your mind about this in the last week. So yeah, it's been completely unorganized. I can only assume as to some way this has been worked out. I don't know the details of contracts for these guys. All I know is the call that I got about 25 minutes ago was, yes, everyone's in. We're on for July 15th. I'm so hyped for this event. I was so devastated when I came out here, came to London, filmed all this content.
I can't imagine how Wade was feeling in that moment, but like, I also want to talk about how many people were preying on Kingpyn's downfall. And if you prey on Kingpyn's downfall, then you're preying on the downfall of crossover boxing. That's all I'm going to say.
Now, tomorrow or the next day, going to go film more content. Getting into fight week, I was so upset that this may not happen because of the effort and time that not just myself, but the fighters, and again, people behind the scenes, the people running the show, have put their all behind this and have really worked their ass off to make this thing actually happen. So I'm not going to sit here and disrespect them. I'm not. And for them and the fighters to still find a way to come together and make this thing happen, I look at it as a positive in a fucking 5 or 6 months full of negatives.
Absolutely.
To make this happen. Because something in influencer boxing that I feel has been missing for a long time, and it's even taken its toll on me, is passion. And say what you will about Kingpyn or the people behind it and their professionality, but the passion is there. They want influencer boxing to succeed. And that wasn't the case for everybody that pointed and laughed when people were about to lose their job. And sure, you could say the game is the game. And And I get it. Jokes on Twitter, memes, the whole thing, it's part of it, right? But at a certain point, you watch people start to slip the mask back off. You know, they put it on for a while. Maybe people forgot about them. That mask starts to slip off little by little. Before you know it, it's like they never wore it in the first place. Take that for what you will, but what I know now is the Zone has now come on board to then help Kingpyn put on this second tournament and go into the third with a little bit of momentum. Finally, we're starting to get there, but it took way too long, so I understand.
Yeah, way too long.
Are frustrated by that. I get it. I apologize that this wasn't earlier, and I apologize for the chaotic nature of everything here on behalf of just me. Obviously, Kingpyn is going to speak for themselves, and I think the announcement's probably already out. But this is where we're at. The tournament is going forward. All 4 of the winners of the tournament bracket are back, again, with some local talent to help sell here in Dublin. In Dublin, Ireland. You thought I wasn't going to bring out the Irish accent.
Of course,
when I
had to bring out the
Ireland.
Irish accent.
It's a lovely fucking stout that it is, yeah. I don't have one here, but that is the update. Again, I appreciate you guys that are supporting.
So yeah, essentially, Kingpyn's back on. And as you can see from my face, I am very excited because we had some of the greatest women's influencer boxing matches on Kingpyn, and I think we need more of that in the space. So I think it's great that they're going back on. I really wanted to see Kenny versus Nunes and Gibb versus Jarvis. I really wanted to know the outcomes of those, so we're going to get the outcomes of those. So I'm super excited. What do you guys think? Do you want a prediction video? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to absolutely knock out that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.